needle to the bottom of the sea, needle to the bottom of the sea. So, maiden shuttles on, wait, see. Maiden shuttles on her right. Okay, watch what maiden does. She holds her ball. The left heel comes out, the left hand comes out. Does she turn her waist yet? No. When the hand of the left nears the forehead, she turns and uses her power to put her shuttlecock right there. What did I say? I said that when maiden works her shuttle, she does not turn her hips and waist until she sets it up, and the power of the hips and waist makes the shuttlecock of the right hand place it right there without moving my hands. Why am I not moving my hands? Only because the power of the hips and waist move my hand right there. So this way, when maiden works her shuttle, the top and the bottom match. The hips and waist are at a zigzag. When the hand of the goes to the starts to go to the forehead, the power of the hips and waist brings the shuttlecock right there. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, heel and hand match. As it gets to the forehead, my hips and waist turn, shuttle's right there. So, to do it incorrectly, okay? So what did I do wrong? I went out, I turned, I went this way. What we need to do is slow it down. The hands and leg match. Then the shuttlecock gets put there. All I did to do was set this up and turn my hips and waist, and the hands went for the ride. If the hands don't go for the ride, you ask yourself, the hands go for the ride. If you say yes, then you used your hips and waist. If you said no, the hips and waist did not help you. You were not using your core, you're using your limb. So to do it correctly, you have your ball, you come out, then you turn with the power of the hips and waist. Watch one more time. It's not correct, heel and hand. I leave it there. As it gets there, I turn my hips and waist. I set it up correctly, okay? Now, bottom of the sea, half step to the back. Everything happens on the left. This foot now is a little awkward with the right foot, but it's going to get corrected as I go down. One hand. Now I'm stable. I need two hands. Then I need more stability. I stretch that knee. So you want to come up. You want to stretch this knee, and then as this heel goes out, these hands unfurl or they separate.
As Lucille says, sometimes you have to just build by bits and pieces. You go through your whole forms, the series of forms, and obviously the first part is sequencing. But I think you folks are at the level where the sequencing is there up here. Now it's just putting it into proper technical performance in terms of where do the hands and where do the arms go. And more so, we've asked you to look at the 10 essentials of Tai Chi as a roadmap on what are the underlying things you should have in mind as you perform the exercise, okay? And because things are getting more complicated, different people, as Lucille says, have different areas either that they are aware of or different areas where they've already accomplished versus there are areas which they have not accomplished. I think the first thing you got to do is become aware, but sometimes that's not so easy because the outside people keep telling you, remember this, remember that, remember this, remember that. And as you do it, it doesn't quite click. But that's one way you have to sort of say, okay, I got it now, but do I do it properly? That's when you start to finish your physical things a little bit better. Things that I saw today, some of them are fairly rudimentary, some of them maybe a little bit more complicated. I want to get back to the rudimentary. Make sure when you use your body in Tai Chi, you use all of your joints. The tendency is to sometimes you don't bend your legs very much. You get to where you're supposed to go, but you don't do this and you don't do that. Of course, if you have impairment, obviously you have to make the corrections and the allowances. But if in fact you are intact, generally, you should try to make sure that the whole body is moving. Another thing is just distinguishing what different maneuvers or different forms entail. Some of it, one of the basic ones is, parting of the horse's mane. This is not the same as warding off, grasping the bird's tail. People get mixed up and say, this is the same as this. That ain't it. It's 1, switch hands, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I think that and what I talked about earlier, to centralize your power. We talk about having your legs substantial and insubstantial, but centralizing your power, the top part we sometimes forget. Lucille tries to tell you your body goes for the ride, and we talk about the hips a lot of times. But say if you're the maiden situation, okay? The hips bring us, but we don't get there yet. All we're trying to do is, from this position, we're going to roll our ball forward. Well, I'm sorry, it should be head on. So, let's see here, I'm sorry. This, you are sideways, but you are wanting to go in that direction. You step out, you roll the ball as if it is going over the top of your head. But by the same token, you are rolling this down. And where's the body, where's the emphasis of the weight? Still on the substantial. Step out, but I could step back. But step out, roll the ball. This is coming down, so you're consolidating energy. This time, this here, you're setting up the block, but this one is setting up the energy so that all of the power comes from. That's what you want to do. And even this, when you finish blocking, it's a subtle dropping of the shoulder, dropping of the elbow, just on the point of imagined impact. Roll the ball, twist the waist, drop the, you've already, and as you roll the ball, another way of saying it, drop the elbow, drop the shoulder. This is getting to where you're going to release your power. So, up, turn, waist, and you let release, at the same time you release it.